Let's turn next to King of the Court, all the way up to a $3 million prize pool tonight, which is amazing. This is one of our favorite promotions in all of sports betting. Of course, it is with DraftKings. If you bet $5 on any player prop market, points, threes, assists, rebounds, whatever you want, use your King of the Court token on the bet, and that player ends up leading all players that night in points plus rebounds, assists. You will split the prize pool with everybody else who bet that player. It's typically a $1 million bonus bet prize pool, all the way up to 3 times that tonight. And we're going to take you through all of our favorite targets on the board. Where do you want to start, Dave?
So we will start real quick with, I just want to make sure it's clear here that there are 3 $1 million jackpots. So it's which is better for all of us because we're not competing for the same one pool with just a bigger bonus bet. It's $3 million jackpots. So if you pick any of those top 3 and your guy is one of them, you'll split $1 million as an individual pool, which again is better for us because we're not all chopping from the same guy. However, it's going to dilute a little bit, the pool a bit. So anyway, we're going to dive into today's top 3 overall. And to kind of keep with the theme, I went with 3 long shot plays as well. Quick little recap of some recent weeks. We nailed Wemby a couple of weeks ago as a top 2 option. Last week's winner, Paolo Banchero, was ranked 7th overall. And I was looking back through the results. Only 2 nights this season, with the exception of the Christmas Day 3 Kings promo, was there a player who won the promo outside of Dimer's top 10 projections. So It's been top heavy, but also our model has correctly predicted the guys who are competing with this as a top 10 option every night. Both of those nights were split pots as well. So one of them was the guy 13th and guy who was 8th. The other were both outside the top 10. The model's been really accurate at least identifying the top contenders in this. And I guess it goes to show a little bit that when we do the long shots, identifying that kind of in between 3 and 10 spot is probably a pretty good place to look outside the top contenders. So, of course, Luka Doncic is our top projected guy tonight, 49.2 PRA. Once again, setting the bar for the whole slate. 50 PRA is the lowest winning total this season, with the exception of one night where it was 44. So he's projected at the floor you basically need to win this promo, which he has hit in 2 games since the All-Star break with 50 plus PRA. I don't know if I call this a concerning recent stretch, but he has gone under 30 points in 4 of his 6 games since returning. His only such slump, in quotes, I guess you would call it, all season, those 2 games where he cleared 50 PRA, he scored over 30. So not going to call it boom or bust, but with him projected at 32.5 points tonight, kind of feels like the key threshold to target with Luka is betting his points prop, 35 plus points. You'll probably get it at plus money with his line at 30, depending what his line is. Sorry, we have him at 32.5. That's not his line. But you can kind of get a sense of how he's hitting this or how he's winning the King of the Court, how he's reaching 50 PRA, and it's off of high scoring nights, even though he has such good complementary stats. He is facing the Pelicans, who rank 19th versus opponent points, 29th versus rebounds, and 7th versus assists over their last 15 games. Those defensive numbers do improve versus guards specifically. New Orleans has the best 3-point defense versus that position. So a little interesting thing to note if you are going after Luka tonight. It may not be the most favorable matchup, and he's going to have to probably score 35 plus points to do so, with how high we have some of these other guys projected. And at that, we will move to Cade Cunningham at 44.2 PRA as our second highest projection of the evening. He's the only guy among these top 3 who hasn't won King of the Court yet this season. That doesn't mean he hasn't turned in the performances. He just hasn't happened to win it all on Tuesday. But he ranks 12th in the league in scoring, 2nd in assists. He's an absolute offensive engine with a very high ceiling on any given night. He's recorded a double-double in every game since the All-Star break, one of those by way of rebounds, the others via assists, which he is projected with the highest total of any player tonight at 10.5, along with 27.5 projected points, which is a top 3 scoring projection as well. He's not a board crasher. His 10-rebound game last Friday was his first double-digit rebounding outing since December 20th. However, that game did come against Cleveland, who he'll face again tonight. They ranked 25th in scoring defense, 24th in both rebounds and assists against guards over their last 15 games. So a pretty favorable matchup across the board for Cade, who we have shouted out here a few times this season. Third is our most recent winner of King of the Court, Paolo Banchero at 40.9 PRA. Won the crown last week with an enormous $811 bonus payout. I would imagine that is not going to be what he returns tonight should he cash in, partially due to his high projection, the good matchup. It was against the Lakers last week, so he was less of a spotlight on him. And also just, an increased popularity with people, seeing him go off like that last week. And with the added 3 bonus bet pools, you're going to have some people who are probably more likely to take someone maybe they wouldn't normally. So if you're betting him, don't expect $800 is all I'm saying. It was also one of his best of the season, 36 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists versus the Lakers. He just hasn't done quite those monster games all year long, but he certainly has the upside. 3 double-doubles since the break. Projected at 25.7 points, 9.8 boards, 6.0 assists, all above his season averages, which I think is a little notable. Facing the Wizards, who are in full tank mode. You got guys getting ejected from games who aren't even active for that team right now. They're putting in they put in Angel Reese's younger brother for like 24 minutes to put up a line of like 2 and 4 the other night. It is an absolute masterclass in tanking that they are doing right now. We're ranked 29th in points, 30th in boards, 26th in assists allowed over their last 15. Specifically versus forwards, they rank 24th against, I believe, in all 3 categories. That almost feels wrong, but I put it in my notes here, so unless I wrote that incorrectly. But it's pretty much the same. They are very bad, not better than 24th in basically any category here. Banchero, he's not, how should I say this? He's a bit of a master of none, kind of. He has very good contributing numbers, but his highest league ranking in any of these stats is 19th as a rebounder. He's just more of an all-around contributor than a single category stat leader. I would say the biggest risk tonight is a blowout, which could cap his minutes, and maybe, we see somebody else kind of unexpected take over, but everything lines up for him to have a big night tonight. And Banchero, number 3, rounding out the top projections. Go to the long shots here. You got something, Greg?
I'll add just personal thoughts. I think with Paolo, anytime you can play Washington, like stars should star, and across the board, he can kind of get whatever he wants. The fear is definitely blowout, and I feel the Julian Reese point from you is a good one. Like, there are some guys you just can't believe are in the league right now for some of these teams. And that's going to leave good teams in weird spots when they play teams like this at this point in the season. So I'd be weary of Paolo. I like the Cade shout. Obviously, I'm, a Pistons fan. You've heard me talk about that on the show before, but I do wonder if we're seeing like a legitimate Luka level turn from him. This was his second All-Star appearance. It just kind of feels like he's settled into like the guy every single night. You think about the Cleveland matchup, that's a game Detroit cares about and gets up for right now. And I think Cade views everybody in the Cleveland backcourt, the new look Cleveland backcourt, as somebody he can, 1, get whatever he wants again, but 2, kind of wants to prove a point against. So he had a huge rebounding game, as you mentioned, last time he played Cleveland. I think it's a good matchup there. I kind of expect Cade to have a huge night. He'll be my play from the favorites.
I say, yep, if I'm picking one of these top 3 guys, it's Cade for me because, 1, he's due. He's the only one of the 3 who hasn't hit it, and he's had monster games this season. Plus, you're getting the 3 guys, so he doesn't have to be the number 1. He can get second. He can get third. He could tie with one of them. So you're opening the door a bit more, and everything's pretty much lined up for him. So I completely am aligned with you in that. Long shots.
Actually,
LeBron James.
I'm sorry to interrupt again.
No, go ahead.
The question is, I'm thinking through the strategy behind this, because this is totally different with $3 million jackpots than it's been when there's 1. Part of me is wondering, do you think it makes it more enticing to back the favorite now? I guess the game theory here would be, if you try to predict what everyone else will do, there's a theory too, since there's 3 spots. You just need to be one of the top 3. Maybe it's more wise to go long shot because there's more spots. You don't need to beat out Luka. You just need to finish third. But if more people think that way, it might make the bonus bet bigger to just back Luka in the first place and now have a safety net behind it. I might be overthinking this, Dave, but what's your thought on the upgraded strategy here?
I don't think you're overthinking at all. I just think there is not a wrong answer with those two. They both perfectly apply. The favorite is going to like the 3 jackpots is naturally going to pull people in other directions. So your favorite is going to be less bet theoretically than he would be on any given night. Also, it opens the door for a long shot because they don't have to be number 1. They can be number 2, number 3. And we've seen the king of the court be stolen away from a long shot who is returning hundreds and hundreds of dollars of bonus bets at the 11th hour with a late performance. So you cannot go wrong. It just opens up a different path for each strategy.
Pretty amazing promotion when you really think about it, but good segue to our long shots here.
Yeah, it is great. It's just a better version of it all around. So, yeah, all right. LeBron James, top long shots. Go back to that Pelicans matchup for a couple reasons. He is projected 7th overall on the night. He won King of the Court earlier this season with a $2,100 bonus return, highest of the year for anybody. Also made history this season, recording a triple-double as the oldest player ever to do it. So he's pulling off impressive feats, even in his 40s now. So I think it's notable that his King of the Court win came in a game where Luka was active, tallying 12 assists, and DeAndre Ayton recorded 18 rebounds. LeBron still coming up 1 board shy of a triple-double, so it wasn't like he was simply taking advantage of a void to fill. As mentioned, he gets the Pelicans tonight, and I broke down their defensive ranking earlier. However, it's worse versus forwards. They're 25th in points and 27th in rebounds over their last 15. LeBron projects as a top 3 in all PRA categories against players in this game, making him a strong value relative to his odds here, or not his odds, but his long shot chances. And if you want to buck the favorite, you can go in that same game with somebody who, has done this before and can again. So LeBron might be my pick of the long shots. Let me think about it, though. I may change my mind here as I talk over these other 2. LaMelo Ball, we featured him last week, I believe. Projected for 34.9 PRA versus the Mavs, 10th highest of the night, which, as we've said, almost everybody so far has landed within that range. Gets the Mavs, who have allowed the 3rd most assists in the NBA over the last 15 games, also ranked bottom 5 in scoring, bottom 8 versus point guards across all 3 PRA categories. Specifically allowing 10.4 assists per game to opposing point guards, so that's a good matchup for a guy like LaMelo Ball, who's projected for 8.0 assists tonight, a 2nd highest, I believe. Let me check that real quick. 1, 2, 3, tied for the 3rd highest with Josh Giddey. Last week's attempt, were we looking at him? He certainly had a shot, but his 3-point shooting was pretty poor in that game, and a 30-point blowout reduced any urgency to get things right. Biggest risk here, as I think it is anytime you're backing a Hornet in this promo, is that they have multiple guys who could probably take this any night between Cunningham and Brandon Miller. That said, LaMelo Ball gets the highest projection of those 3 by our model, so he's clearly our model's preferred option as far as counting stats in this game. And finally, the last long shot, the longest of them all, Chet Holmgren in Thunder versus Bulls, projected for 33.5 PRA as our 11th highest total of the night. Playing without SGA tonight, so that's really what put him on this radar. I don't think I'd be looking at him otherwise. So he could see better scoring usage, though, he's not completely filling that void when he hasn't played. But he has 2 games since the All-Star break, 21 rebounds and 15 rebounds. Also had his best scoring performance since late January this past Sunday with 19 points against the Mavs. Gets a similar matchup tonight against Chicago, ranked 24th versus opponent points and assists, and boards, and 30th versus assists over their last 15 games. Chicago traded away Nikola Vucevic recently, their top rebounder on the season. And in that same 15-game span, Bulls have allowed an average of 25.9 points, 14.1 boards to opposing centers. mostly behind two very big games by Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Duren. Holmgren sort of fits this same mold here, projected as the top scorer and top rebounder in this game, getting a very good matchup that against a team that can't stop anybody, though we haven't managed to capitalize on the three-point matchup in the last couple tries. He's got a path to a standout night here. Just needs to all come together for him.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of upside in the long shot plays. I think I'm with you. LeBron is probably my personal favorite from that group. You sticking with Bron?
I think I would go Chet because, like we were saying, now you get the door open for him to. He only needs to get top three here. 15 rebounds, 20 points, 5 assists. You got a 40 PRA. Probably not enough. He probably needs a little more than that. But yeah, certainly got an option.
Yeah, a whole new spice. King of the Court promotion now, thanks to DraftKings.